I read that you said you felt misrepresented. How do you feel misrepresented?
A lot of what the media has been saying is that I'm anti-diversity. I think that women are less capable of being engineers, and that's just really false. I simply state that if we want to fix the gender representation issue, then we should look at how the population differs, and so we can make tech actually better for a lot more women.
Why do you believe you were fired?
Well, I think that it was a PR move by Google primarily. There was a lot of pressure externally and by some of the very zealous followers of this ideology to get me fired.
It certainly seems, though, and the memo, or at least what Google CEO said, was you weren't fired for having different ideology, but you were fired for some of your statements on women.
Yeah, I mean, he can say whatever he wants, but that's not the true case.
Computer science, it hasn't always been dominated by men. It wasn't until 1984 that the number of women studying computer science started falling. So how does that fit into your argument as to why there aren't more women in tech?
So there are several reasons for why it was like that. Partly, women weren't allowed to work other jobs, so there was less freedom for people. And also, it was simply different kinds of work. It was more like accounting rather than modern day computer programming. And it wasn't as lucrative. So part of the reason so many men go into tech is because it's high paying. I know of many people at Google that they weren't necessarily passionate about it, but it was what would provide for their family, and so they still worked there.
You say those jobs are more like accounting. I mean, look at Grace Hopper, who pioneered computer programming, Margaret Hamilton, who created the first ever software, which was responsible for landing humans on the moon, Katherine Johnson, Mary Jackson, Dorothy Vaughan. They were responsible for John Glenn accurately making his trajectory to the moon. Those aren't accounting type jobs.
Yeah, so there were select positions that weren't, and women are definitely capable of being competent programmers.
Do you believe those women were outliers?
No, I'm just saying that there are competent women programmers. There are many at Google, and the women at Google aren't any worse than the men at Google. But I'm saying that there were many positions that were listed as coding that are different than what coding currently is.